So next we have probation.
Good morning. I'm Wendy Mondfrans, the Chief Probation Officer, and the Probation Department had a successful 2022. We have a department full of employees dedicated to public safety and helping people change their lives. And one of our accomplishments this year was something we called Resilient Reentry. We worked with Woodland College to put together an all-day event where over 100 people in the community who were either justice involved or formerly justice involved to find resources such as education, job hunting, and expunging their records. We had inspirational speeches, food, and it was a great event that we plan on doing annually with Woodland College, and we're working with Mendocino College to do one on this side of the lake. We also, during the summer, put on our Exploring Horizons summer program for juvenile youth involved, and we had 10 youth visit community college campuses, Sonoma State. They went to Job Corps. They had a visit with CAL FIRE. They went zip lining. They went on the lake. They went kayaking. And it's something we've done for, I think, 6 years now. And it teaches the kids that are involved with us that there are other things to do besides committing crimes. Our third accomplishment was we created a new division in our adult unit, and it's called the pretrial unit. We contracted with the Superior Court to supervise those people who are released while pending trial, and we report back to the court on their progress. Most are ordered on electronic monitoring, and we supervised 80 individuals during 11 months of the year, and we wrote 175 court reports related to the pretrial program. And our accomplishment that our department did was we raised more canned foods for the annual food drive than any department ever has. We had, I think it was over 1,000 cans of food that were donated by our staff, and we were pretty excited about that. This next year, our biggest goal is to recruit more probation officers. We have been trying different ways to do that, creating videos, going to different sites on the internet, and actually networking. We get a new employee and try to get them to find their friends to come apply. So that's our goal there. We are also starting leadership training of our staff with the Dare to Lead program, and we've hired a facilitator to come and begin our succession planning so the new leaders, the younger ones that are in our department can start moving forward. We have 2 grant opportunities that we're pursuing right now. The first is a mobile probation services center that will be a van similar to that behavioral health uses to reach those that are on supervised release that are homeless, and we can also use it at community events, and we should know if we receive that grant in April. And the last one is working with the Vera Foundation to end girls' incarceration grant. And right now, the past 5 years, our girls' incarceration for juveniles is about 30%, and the goal of Vera is to reduce that to 0. They started in Santa Clara County and reduced it to 0 long-term, and they have an average of about 2 in custody in Santa Clara after working with them. So it's our goal to do the same and receive that grant. Thank you.
Wendy, welcome.
Thank you.
We're delighted to have you with us
Thank
for
you.
this year. Do we have comments from the board? Not at this time? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And next, we have public services.
All right. Well, good morning. Lars Ewing, Public Services Director. To highlight the accomplishments from 2022, the first bullet point that I believe is up there, infrastructure management of over 100 county-owned buildings, a couple of dozen parks, and project delivery of over 1,500 projects. That's the first bullet point. It's focused on parks and buildings and grounds. Really, the emphasis there is the 2 dozen about 24 men and women that are out there handling these day-to-day, just the upkeep, the maintenance, the repair, the improvements at these projects. The bulk of what we do is not by contract. Maybe what is outwardly seen is by contract, but the men and women that we have working are exceptional, and that's where I wanted to start. A few of the examples from capital projects that really get the highlight because it's above and beyond the vacuuming and the making sure that the toilets are flushing. A few little projects, remodels at elections and auditor controller. In this building, a courthouse fire alarm upgrade. Roofs on 4 different buildings, one that is in progress here on this building. Parking lots, about a half a dozen this year. Numerous HVAC replacements around the county. So that highlights some of the projects that we did. The next bullet point there is countywide building energy audit and building condition assessments. That was a big push, 2 separate pushes, but they are interrelated. The energy audit identified that in a very unique situation that our county buildings would not qualify for something that these companies would do for an energy savings contract. And that emphasizes the work that our staff have done, their forward thinking to get LED lights put in, to get more energy efficient HVAC systems put in. So that's a testament to their expertise. The building condition assessments, that will be the basis of developing a maintenance management program. Essentially, it's taking the data from that evaluation and putting it on paper for what a management plan will be rather than just institutional knowledge. So that really is going to be the springboard for that maintenance management plan. The next bullet point, Parks, Recs, and Trails Strategic Master Plan that is in development. Last week, I intended to give an update to the board, but the board meeting went long. That'll be going on next week, so you'll receive an update there. But that Strategic Master Plan is in development. And kind of related to that, the next bullet point there, a feasibility study for multi-jurisdiction recreation center is ongoing. That is in concert with the 2 cities and other school districts around the county. Efforts are continuing, and I'll be coming to the board to present that next week. The next bullet point, landfill and diversion operations. So essentially landfill. You're talking about the landfill operations. Similar to what I said about the county buildings and grounds and park staff, the bread and butter of what happens at the landfill is what happens every single day. Those 6 landfill operators and 2 weighmasters, we've handled about, they have handled 55,000 tons of waste from over 50,000 individual vehicle trips. So those are very big numbers. Those are normal numbers. Trash doesn't stop, and they keep going. Diversion means we're trying to keep out of the landfill what shouldn't be in there. A few highlights there, mattresses, over 7,500 mattresses taken in and recycled, and that's a relatively new program that we signed up for. Tires, nearly 8,000. Oil, 10,000 gallons of oil and about 5,000 filters. These are round numbers, but it just emphasizes the need to keep out of the landfill what shouldn't be in there so that not only can we save the life of the landfill, we can maximize the resources, the finite resources that we have. The last bullet point up here, museums. Museum exhibits and tours, both physical and virtual. We may think of the museums as a place to go physically, which they certainly are. In-person visits, we had nearly 5,000 in-person visits among the 3 museums. But something that you may not be aware of, and we need to emphasize this more, and that'll be one of the points of emphasis for next year. But the digital exhibits that we have nearly, I believe there's nearly 24 digital exhibits that are available, and they have individual visits of over 7,500 last year. So that's those are. Our small little staff at the museums, they've created those digital exhibits, and they're very high quality. I encourage you to take a look at those. So looking ahead at the points of emphasis for next year, broke it down into the 4 general divisions that we have. So facilities, projects. That's the all-encompassing point of emphasis, project delivery. I highlighted a few, 2 that are kind of the bigger projects. One is the armory conversion. The other is a courthouse campus parking lot solar array. So those are in the project development stages, and others. There are plenty of others that I could go on a laundry list of. But I also included in there deferred maintenance. I believe I did. There it is. So deferred maintenance. There are we actually have some funding from the board for deferred maintenance, so that is progressing. Few projects maybe to also highlight: jail generator and security electronics is in progress. Roofs, I mentioned the courthouse is in progress, but we have about a half a dozen other roof replacements this year. Other projects were already mentioned: behavioral health at their South Shore facility, libraries, numerous projects there. So it's a very accelerated project delivery that we're hopeful for. Public Services has really ramped up our project staff. I don't mean the construction staff. I mean the project management staff. Historically, that was handled outside of Public Services. We have built that up, and I hope to have some support to build that up even further, because the projects are not slowing down. Parks and trails, improvement projects and planning for the future. A few projects that I wanted to highlight. One, I touched on the master plan. That continues. Here in the next month, we will be coming to the board with an update on the status of that master plan. A few other projects that I wanted to highlight: Lucerne Harbor dredging, John Klaus Regional Park, the development for that new 600-plus acre property that the county just accepted the assets. So we're progressing there. Parks and Trails in Cobb, Lakeside County Park improvements, as well as Upper Lake and Kelseyville, and also a grant that we received from Caltrans Clean California, about a $1.3 million grant for improvements at about a dozen parks around the county, as well as a $400,000 grant from the state for improvements at Lakeside Park. So second to last bullet point here, landfill expansion construction. That is, we're going to be hitting a milestone. We are waiting on our final permit, and we'll be putting the construction documents, just putting the final touches on that, putting it out to bid. So we anticipate, middle to end of this year going to construction on phase one for that landfill expansion. We also have a hopeful partnership with RCRC, the Environmental Services JPA, for that, for a partnership on a grant application that we hope to bring in about $500,000 for diversion work toward keeping even additional material out of the landfill. Lastly, museums. The emphasis there is on marketing, really increasing the amount of marketing that we're doing, not just here locally, but outside of the county to advertise what the museums are, both physically and virtually. And lastly there, the Pomo Gallery and Sculpture. That plan has been in place for quite a while. We've been trying to build up some funds, and we have. This is right down here in Courthouse Square. We did not receive a grant that we applied for that, but that's not going to deter us. Whether we need to use our own funds and make up the gap there, or continue to apply, but that's a point of emphasis for that one specific project. So with that said, I'll wrap it up and happy to answer any questions.
Just to follow up on your praise of staff and the incredible work that they do, and then the extra load they carried through the atmospheric river conditions. I know that they were out working long hours and out in the weather and doing everything that needed to be done. And so I just want to really express my gratitude for that as well.
Well, thank you. It's not just Public Services. There are many departments here that do that.
Yep. Supervisor Crandall?
Yeah, just two things. Just wanted to, give you praise for the situation with Lucerne Harbor. I know it took a little longer than expected, but the fact of the matter is they found something. And so taking that care is a big deal. And so I know it's discouraging and disconcerting for folks of the town of Lucerne, but at the same time, a very important situation there. So just kudos for that. And just had a thought about the museums when it comes to the different areas that we have specific, old buildings, things like that. Are they connecting those to like the Malden book stories, if that makes sense? Because I think it's important to, when we talk about these facilities or even exhibits, seeing the mindset that was taken back in the time frame. You see what I'm saying? It's just a thought. I know it's a lot of probably referencing and putting together, but I mean, I just really think it's important to know the mindset back when those things were found or established. So just a thought.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. The Lucerne Harbor, CEQA has completed, big milestone, and we're in the process of pulling permits, so that, that we're on the way forward there. For the museum question, it's certainly a topic that I need to talk to the expert, to the curator about, as well as many other experts that are on the various committees that advise the museums. But I can tell you that the Heritage Commission, there's been some discussion of reviving that, which ties into a historic properties preservation ordinance. So that these are things that have been discussed, but need to kind of give it a little boot, and it involves more than just public services. That there's
Right.
multiple departments there. But yeah, that's a topic that has been brought up. But I certainly need to have a conversation with the curator to better answer your question.
All right, thanks, Lars.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Lars.
Thank you.